Ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome all of you back here again. I first of all want to give a shout out to Catnip and her roommate. I want to say thank you. You have touched our hearts, definitely, with your letter. I want to say that this is the most heartfelt letter that we have received from anyone for the longest time. I'm not saying that everybody hasn't had very nice comments and letters that they have written to us. We want to say thank you to all of you. But in particularly, I want to say thank you to Catnip, because that was the most personalized letter I've ever received since we've been doing this on YouTube. So, by saying that, I just want to say thank you to you. Okay. Anyhow, FM Lock, I want to say also thank you for your comment as well. I see that you have asked me questions and brought attention to the so-called camera persons that have took this particular photo and videos of the explosions in the event, okay, and also of the cameraman who took the picture of the double amputee guy. I don't have any way of knowing who these guys are and who they work with. I don't see any kind of indications of who actually took this photograph or video. There's nothing there that gives me any kind of starting point where I can investigate them. So maybe that could be in somebody else's area of trying to find out. But right now I have so much bigger fish to fry. But I will say this. I do believe that those camera guys that were there in particularly were there for a reason, to document and to also to publicize publicly of this big event, because they wanted to go global. They wanted to go live with this because it becomes a form of manipulation to the public, in a way of persuading the public into supporting global laws to make it mandatory to permanently install military working with law enforcement on our streets forever, for the rest of our entire lives, because they're presenting our nation as being without any ability or any possible ability of protecting its citizens. So they need to have the use of military to help engage that confirmation of security. But it's all a part of the act to justify martial law. It was a training exercise for that particular purpose. Now, and I believe that they were set there on purpose to to make that possible. Also, you were asking me about people being stopped at airports for and having their electronics confiscated and their pictures taken away from them. Well, this is an actual witness who was at the hospital, and I want you to listen to what he has to say real quick. It's quite interesting.
Crime scene. A day and a half later, and an FBI guy came over. He said, "Give me your camera." I said, "I've got 2,000 pictures of my family on there. Give me your camera." And I said, "Okay." And he went to it. He went to the pictures I just took of the crime scene, which was outside the hotel, right there when the bomb went left it. And he went and deleted every one of them. I said, "You can have all the other pictures. I got pictures of 25 ambulances lined up, all ready to go. Guardsmen, policemen, police cruisers all over the place."
Now, he had FBI came to this guy, and this is a guy who was in the Boston Marathon because he had a family member that was running in the marathon, and he went there to document, his family, and and he took pictures of the crime scene as the event unfolded. The FBI confiscated his camera and deleted everything that was on his camera instead of using his information that he had on his camera to help, to locate and find any suspicious suspects that would be in that area. You would think this would be the moment that this officer would jump on the advance opportunity to do so. But instead, this law enforcement deleted information which would become the act of a cover-up. So in other words, what was it that they didn't want the public to see? What was it that they're trying to conceal from us? Because this proves without a shot of a doubt there was cover-up. And this man ain't got no reason to lie. He doesn't live in the state. You remember, he's not in the known of what's going on. But anyhow, nonetheless, this FBI agent says that anyone outside of this area is not deemed as being important enough. Anyone's photographs that are taken of the area, other than what they have displayed right here on this chart, should not be of interest to anyone. Listen to what he has to say.
Other photos should not be deemed credible, and they unnecessarily divert the public's attention in the wrong direction and create undue work for vital law enforcement resources.
Now, he's sitting up here telling everybody that anyone, private social media, in other words, independent free press media or just individual people who take photographs is not deemed as being important or should be even looked at. And they're also deeming it as being an act of terror if anyone is taking photographs of this area. And I'm going to show you how that they're doing it. This is an actual document from the Homeland Security. DHS and F.B.I. releases statements after Boston bombings that photography can lead to terrorism. Okay, and this is an actual document, and I'm going to show you that actual footage, an actual original document. Okay, now here's the actual document that it's referring to. Okay, I'm going to just pop up here so you can all see it. Okay, Federal Bureau of Investigations and Homeland Security. And it's laying down what they call the indicators and protective measures in the light of Boston Marathon explosion, April the 16th, 2013. And we go down here, and we go to the second page at the very bottom, and right here it says that indicators and pre-operational surveillances and attack planning. Given these events, we are providing the dictators and protective measures to aid law enforcement and first responders in identifying and mitigating potential threats. Each indicator listed below may be by itself law conductive or behavior or conduct or behavior and may also constitute the exercises of rights guaranteed by the U.S. Constitution. In addition, there may be a wholly innocent explanation for conduct or behavior that appears suspicious in nature. For this reason, no single indicator should be the sole basis of law enforcement action. The totality of behavioral indicators and other relevant circumstances should be elevated when considering any law enforcement responses or action. And it goes down here and gives you all the elements that would be considered as an act of terrorism, and you can see it right here. Discrete use of cameras or video recorders, sketching or noting taking consistent with pre-operational surveillances, okay, are considered and deemable as an act of terrorism. Now, this is not, they're trying to say that anyone who takes numerous photographs of an area, well, I mean, come on, guys, you're in a sporting event. You're going to take numerous of photos in a sporting event. So this is deemed as being an act of terrorism. So that gives them the act and rights to confiscate all of your cameras, which I'm going to show you here. Now, this is from the Forbes. Homeland Security approves their right to searches and seizures, okay, of your electronics without suspicion. And then this is another government document from Homeland Security, okay. Now, they tried to make this as an act on borders and border control, right? Civil rights and civil liberties impacted assessments, border searches of electronic devices. This is the actual document that permits them to confiscate your electronics without suspicion. Now, airports are considered the invisible borderlines, okay? And this is what they have mainly the rights to do at the airport. So this should answer your question. Do they have the right to do it? Yes, they can do it. And so even if they just simply have a suspicion of it, well, I mean, we're going to take photographs at an airport of our family leaving, right? And saying, our lullabies and saying, our goodbyes to our family members, and we're going to take pictures of the event, right, of them leaving, and we're going to take pictures of the airport. But they're trying to turn everyone upside down against each other and trying to make us all look like we're a bunch of terrorists. And here we have more reports. DHS watchdogs okay suspicionless seizures of electronic devices along the borders. More reports. Homeland Security not searching your laptops doesn't benefit your civil liberties, so we can do it. Okay. Also, mobile phone surveillances by police targets millions annually. So in other words, this becomes criminal and it becomes harassment and a violation of our constitutional rights. So this is basically everything that the Homeland Security are doing. Homeland Security and laptop seizures interviews with Representative Sanchez. Will Congress act to curb the shocking abuses of U.S. citizens encountering when re-entering their own country? See, they're even admitting it that even American citizens coming from abroad in another foreign land, coming back home, are now deemed as being terrorists, especially when they have cameras and laptops. And of course they're going to have all this because they've taken pictures where they're traveled to. But they're making everyone fear everyone, and when there's no imminent threat, ladies and gentlemen. But the only threat that we have all unfolded and investigated and had discovered is our own government is the only people that are deemed as that imminent threat. You see what I'm getting at? Like, let's say, for instance, 9/11. The United States government was there. FEMA even admitted it, that they were there on the grounds on the day before the event happened. And they were even admitting it that they were conducting the same exercise as the event unfolding live. And they even admitted being at Oklahoma City bombings. Even the workers were even warned not to go to work that day. ATF were warned not to go to work that day. And this was even by the admittance of Representative Charles Key, of the congressman of Oklahoma City and of the state of Oklahoma. Now, here we have all this evidence every time that there seems to be these big stories, such as shootings in the schools, Sandy Hook, the Aurora Theater, and the Oregon Mall shooting, and also Virginia Tech, and all of this. The government seems to be there exactly when these events happen. So, ladies and gentlemen, it leaves us with no other choice but to say that these events are staged at a high-level controlled event. And they're not being done by anyone that's a citizen. But they're trying to make you believe that they are. And I'm going to give you some points real quick, because this has really got to be seen and got to be heard, okay? And if I don't have time, I'll make another video. So we'll just try to quickly get over there and show you this, okay? Now, you remember this document I showed you all, okay? I told you all to go to Actors Waiver. Everyone that's involved in acting and simulating these exercises are sworn in secrecy by a waiver form that they all have to sign. It's right there. They are no longer allowed, once they sign these forms and participate in this exercise, they are now sworn in secrecy not to reveal any information that are being conducted during this exercise, because it's deemed as classified while they are conducting these events live. Also, hospitals, which you see here, and hospitals also have to sign a waiver form. And also, media has to sign a waiver form, which is right here, of their secrecy. And also, the public residents in the city all also have to be sworn in secrecy if they are all participating in the surrounding area of the event. That's what I'm trying to say, ladies and gentlemen. This is the smoking gun, because they're using actors to act out a role and simulating these roles to make it as realistic as possible to train their first responders. Well, if that's the case, why can't they go out in the desert and do it out in the desert? Why do they have to do it in front of a highly populated area where a bunch of residents live? Because it wouldn't be deemed as believable if you're trying to get a political agenda pushed to take total control of its citizens, like martial law, working with our law enforcement, okay? It wouldn't be deemed as believable that our securities are threatened if you don't make our securities look believable and look real in front of the cameras, so that it helps support and push into legislations to put military boots on our grounds working with our law enforcement. It's all a part of the game of manipulation, ladies and gentlemen. This is what I'm trying to say. You have to think in a strategic way. Everything has a strategic purpose. Because if this was really about training their first responders, they didn't need to do all that in front of a bunch of people. They could have done this out in the desert and accomplished the same goal. But no, they had to make a political purpose behind this. And this is where we're stating this is a inside job. End of subject. It was staged. Period. And if someone got hurt, then we can accuse our government because they're the ones who did it. No one else did this, ladies and gentlemen. And that should sink inside of your head. It should really plant it in there. And by saying that, I have to let this video go. I want to say thank you to everyone. I'm going to make another part that will highlight this again, and then we're going to talk about something else as well. So I'm going to say thanks to all of you guys. I'll catch you on the next video. So hang tight, and you're going to hear from me again. So y'all be good.